This is
Chat the Great.
Like my dad's he comes from I'd say he's built himself up from the ground up kind of thing. And he never really, he'd provide me with stuff, but he'd always, he would be like, well, let's see what you want to do first. So I think I played drums on books for 3 years before he believed I really wanted to be a drummer. And then he bought me a drum kit. So he takes a while to clock on. So when I was 16, 17, I think I had 1 or 2 microphones and a guitar, and it was really, it was good of him. And then I got a job at Tesco, and I started building up gear. But even then, a lot of the gear that I mix on is from that era. So I use the same speakers still. I've had those speakers since I was 18, and I wouldn't change them. And as the years have gone on, and I've made a bit of an income, people always say, oh, why don't you update? And some people laugh at me. Some engineers, when I tell them I've got the speakers I do, they're just like, oh right, why would you no? But it doesn't matter. For me, it's always been about working within limitations. So for instance, Spring King came out of that whole era of I didn't really have much with Spring King. I'd left uni, I'd graduated. I went to LIPA, which is performing arts, and a really good sound tech degree, but the course had millions of pounds worth of gear. What are you meant to do as a young person coming out of uni from millions of pounds of gear in front of you to then going back to your house and living at home with your parents and that kind of thing? So when I came home, I realized I've only got 2 microphones, pair of speakers. I did buy a few other bits, but really it was nothing. And then I started the Spring King records, started doing them for my house. So the first album, I mixed that in my house in the corner of this really small room with, and that went out on a major label. That's
crazy.
And then, obviously it had FIFA, Guitar Hero, Gran Turismo, all kinds of stuff.
All over the games.
All over the games. It was on Radio 1 a lot, the tracks from that album. But I still to this day, I'm but I made that in my room. And I think that just gave me the confidence, okay, because I always felt like a bit of an imposter because I didn't go and record in studios. I didn't mix in amazing spaces. So I felt I don't know, I felt like I was getting away with something, so yeah, I think that helped me build the confidence to be okay, well, this is getting radio and this is getting really well recognized for what it is and where it's been recorded. So maybe I don't need to, it wasn't an image thing. It wasn't oh, I'm going to record it in my bedroom and
it just happened.
It just happened. Yeah.